Welcome back, people. Finally joining me right here on the couch is Waka 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 Doctor himself, the travel guru. He's here to share his experiences and give expert advice on those of you that want to jackpot and how to make it basically easy steps on how to make that transition easy for you. How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you.
Good to have
Absolutely
you
buzzing.
here.
Yeah.
You look like you're buzzing.
I am always buzzing.
I mean,
yeah.
this is I would say it's a thriving period for you as an immigration consultant.
Why would you say so?
Because we have a lot of people who are making that move outside of the country. But we'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk about you as a content creator and as a travel blogger. I would say travel guru, travel blogger. Also because in the last 5 years, there seems to be an evolution that took place in the travel scene. We saw more people, sharing their exploits all around the country, and you just came into our face because I follow you on Twitter as well, and I think you're doing amazing well.
Thank you.
Helping a lot of people make that transition. But how did it all begin for you?
Well, so it all started when I left the country. Yeah.
Which was how many years ago?
This was about 10 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why I left was purely because of money, right? Left the country in search of money. And I realized that I could earn more and I could get more experience out there. And that's how it played out, and it's still playing out. And when I left the country for the first time, I got the opportunity to travel to different places, met different people, learned languages, met people of different cultures and values. And this thing where you always feel like your father's garden is the biggest until you see someone else's garden actually, came to fore. And I just felt it would be good for more people to actually know that opportunities exist out there. A lot of people often feel that you need a lot of money to travel abroad. Only those who are rich, can go abroad. And when I moved abroad, I didn't spend a dime. It was purely my skill that took me out. And so I just felt this would be a great opportunity to share to people, and I started creating content bit by bit. And of course, you get a lot of pushback.
Exactly, I was
but
coming there.
The results are there for people to see, and that's what pushes me.
Yeah, but we're in a time where, there's also a lot of, as much as people are making that migration, there's also people advocating for, Nigerians abroad in the diaspora to come back home and, equip and, use their skills here to, educate and empower the country. What are your thoughts on that, being that you are on the other side of the...
Well, people, again, this is a misconception.
Okay.
People think that because I tell people to leave Nigeria, then I hate Nigeria. I don't hate Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria is my fatherland. Nigeria is my country. Nigeria made me. I don't hate Nigeria. And in fact, the concept of migration or japa is a cycle. So you have not effectively moved abroad, jackpot, if you don't go and return. So, and I'm not saying you go and then come here to retire. I'm saying you go, acquire skills, acquire training, build capital, raise wealth, and then do some sort of give back to where you're coming from. It could be your family, it could be your small community, it could be your village, it could be it doesn't have to be the whole country. So it's a cycle. And when people feel that, he advocates move abroad, then he must hate the country. No, I don't. But I think that everybody deserves that right to just see what abroad looks like.
Yeah.
And that's the idea.
We've also had conversations. I mean, I would say that the Japa syndrome is quite a controversial topic. Also because there has been conversations around people just moving and getting stranded. They do it because A, B, C, D, relative, colleague, is doing it. So let me do it, right? And then they get over there and then they're stranded. Also being a consultant in this regard, what would you advise in terms of, making that decision to making that transition?
So a couple of questions you need to ask yourself, and it's like everything in life, you don't just jump in there. You need to plan. It takes time. So you need to ask yourself, why am I moving abroad? You want to move abroad? Why? Is it because your sister is doing it, your friend is doing it, or is it because it's the in thing now, so everybody's doing, let's do it?
Yeah.
So why? You must answer that question. Is it because you want a place with security? Is it because you want money, like I moved? Is it because you want a place that would afford you the better opportunity to get a more recognized passport that gives you global opportunities? Is it because you want a place that offers you access to basic facilities that you don't have where you are at the moment? You need to answer that question. And that's why I always tell people, it doesn't have to be Canada. It doesn't have to be the UK. Because if you can answer that question, why, then even if it's Ghana you move to, you've jackpot, because Ghana solves that question, why. The next thing you want to ask is, how do I want to do it? Do I want to move through the academic routes? Do I want to move through permanent residency programs? Do I want to move using my skill? Do I want to move with marriage? You need to be able to answer that question, how. Then, of course, you need to ask yourself, when do I want to do it? So is it now? It cannot be now, because you need to plan, you need to give yourself time. And I tell, the earliest you can do this is probably 3 to 6 months if you're using the academic route and you've been planning ahead of time. And the longest it can take as long as 2 to 3 years of proper planning, depending on the route you take.
Let's talk about common mistakes that people make, a lot of Nigerians make when they make that transition, whether it is academically, whether it is with their accommodation, living, and let's, address some of those common mistakes.
Lots of mistakes, and it's not just Nigerians, okay?
I think,
it's a general thing.
Yeah.
People don't read, okay? You need to research and check out. You need to answer those questions I talked about, and see where you... One of the things I play about even is, you want to move to a certain country and you don't know the capital of that country. It's as little as that. Where do you want to go to? I want to move to Norway. Oh, yeah, what's the capital of Norway? You don't know. I want to move to Luxembourg. Okay, what is the capital of Luxembourg? It's as little as that. So you need to read, you need to research about where you're going to. That's the first mistake a lot of people make. Another thing is, people don't have the right amount of information. So when you research, you get clues about what you need to do, how you need to do it. And that information can be found in books, it can be found online, it can be found on YouTube, it can be found even on TikTok and Instagram, the right type of information. And then you have to make sure that you have the requirements, okay? You have to be able to find or know that you have the requirements in terms of documentation, in terms of skill, in terms of what that country needs. Some people say, I want to go abroad, I want to go and work. I just want to go and work. What work? You have chosen you want to go to this country, but your skill, is it in demand in that country? So every country has a shortage occupations list. Every country has a skill that's in demand in that country. You make sure that your skill, the skill you have, is in demand in where you're going. And then we can talk about documentation. People don't write documents, people forge documents. It's a whole long list.
There has also been conversations around people getting scammed from fraudulent agents. I also had an incident of someone who actually, she had already relocated with her family, and then she got there. It turns out that the agent that got her there was fraudulent. So that sort of, she had 2 weeks to either fix up her, accreditation and her documents, or get deported. Now, what are the things to look out for when, meeting with an agent?
Can I do like Hulk?
Okay.
I hate agents. Like, hate is a strong word, but I mean it with every fiber I have. And that's because agents can literally ruin your life. They don't tell you the whole picture. Because that agent who is in Mokola, Ibadan, and is saying, I want to take you to Canada. Is it that he doesn't like Canada?
Exactly. Why is he not there?
He doesn't like the Canada he wants to take you to. There's job. We'll give you the job. And then he can't. No. You need to listen to someone who's got the right information, the right experience, the right know-how. And a lot of us in Nigeria and even in Africa are so desperate because of the situation we find ourselves. So if anybody tells you, bring 1.5 million, I will take you to Oman, I'll take you to Bahrain, you need to have the right type of information. So you have to beware, really, when someone is promising you stuff where you don't have to do a lot of job. You just relax, bring money. Visa will come to you at
You
your
need to be
doorstep.
wary of that.
You need to
That
be wary
is
of
a
that.
red flag.
You know, they don't. You ask an agent questions,
Yeah.
they're not able to
So
give
give
you
you
answers.
answers.
There's a lot of red flags.
Oh,
You know, they encourage you to forge documents.
Oh.
You know, yeah.
Oh, wow. Agents will tell you to do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they
wow.
do.
I mean, this is a really, really long conversation. Like, it's a broad conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if we stay here, we wouldn't,
We're
wouldn't
not
be here.
finished. We're not
But
finished.
I'm glad that you've been able to, you know, hit bits and pieces of, you know, some of the common issues that a lot of people or Africans generally have to deal with when they migrate. But thank you so much.
Thank you
Waka
very
Waka
much.
Doctor.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you
Same
here.
here.